All right, welcome to today's lesson. We're going to have a quick look really at how to determine rules of some of the other graphs we've looked at in this set. So things like hyperbola, truncus, circles, and so forth. Okay, so a few of the examples, the first couple of examples look at hyperbola, and it says that we have a rule that looks like this: a over x plus 8, and passes through the point minus 2 comma 6, and it says to find a. All right, so just like in general form of parabola, you notice that you've got a y, an x, and an a, so 3 variables. But when you substitute in x and y of minus 2 and 6, you're going to only have one variable, which is a. So we'll just go ahead and substitute that in. Plus 8. Then you're just going to solve until you find a. So move the 8 to the other side, so it becomes minus 2 equals a over minus 2. Multiply that across and you end up with 4 equals a. So your rule, and you must write it, is to look like this. Pretty simple. You've just found a and then substituted it back in place of the unknown that you had in the first place. All right, so when we come across questions like this where it says to find the rule, you have to think to yourself, what am I trying to find? What have I been given, or what do I know? And then basically it's substitute in and solve. Some of them will be a bit more complex and will involve simultaneous equations, but that's the basic premise: substitute in and solve. So we'll have a quick look at the next example, which does use simultaneous equations. So it says that we have a hyperbola that looks like this. That's an a, not a 9. A over x plus k. So straight away, your brain should now be noticing that there are two unknowns, a and k. And using simultaneous equations, that should mean that the question is going to give you two pieces of information, which it does. It tells you that it goes through minus 1, 1 and 2, 7. So your first step is going to be to substitute both in, just like we did in parabolas. We had to substitute both pieces of information in, so that's equation 1. And equation 2 looks like this, plus k. That's equation 2. All right, so then you're going to solve them simultaneously until you can find a or k, and then you can substitute it in the other one to find the other variable, and that's an a, not a 9. All right, so what I'll choose to do is I'll choose to, in equation 2, I'll rearrange it so that it becomes k equals, and I'm choosing equation 2 because it's over minus 1, which is another way I could have written this. That's the same as equation 2. So I'm going to move the minus a to the other side, so it's going to become 1 plus a equals k. So that's equation 2. I'm going to substitute that into equation 1 now. So it's going to be 7 equals a over 2 plus 1 plus a. Then I'm going to simplify until I can get a by itself. So first thing I'm going to do is move the plus 1 to the other side, so it becomes 6 equals a over 2 plus a. Then I'm going to combine a over 2 and a into one fraction because I notice they're like terms, so it's going to become 3a over 2. And the reason I do that is because now I can multiply the 2 off the bottom and only multiply it across to the other side. If I'd chosen to multiply the 2 in the previous step, I would have had to multiply it there and there. So it sort of just simplifies the process a small amount. So moving across here, we've got 2 times 6 is 12 equals 3a. Divide by 3, you end up with 4 equals a. Then I'm going to substitute that back into equation 2, and I get 1 plus 4 equals k. So 5 equals k. And the final step is to write the equation using those variables that we now know. So it's 4 over x plus 5. All right, which is fairly straightforward. The hyperbola equation is not too complex. When it gets more complex is when you have a h value in the denominator. So it might be a over x minus h. And the thing you want to do there is just to remember to multiply the entire thing off the bottom if you come across a question involving that. But if you stick to your processes and simplify things one step at a time like I've modeled here, you shouldn't have any troubles with these questions.